Hey, let's talk layouts. So when you need a layout, you go File, Templates, and then you pick a new one right here. So I picked this one. This is Chiefs. And I put my company branding on it. But I don't really like it. It's kind of bland. So let's go to this one. And I'm going to show you how I did all this. The magic of layouts. So page 0 is repeated on every single page. It sucks that I yawn in the beginning of every video, but whatever. So anything I've written that you see repeating is written on page 0. These little X's, they don't even show. They're a non-repeating thing. Like, they don't show when you print a PDF. But I put them in locations where I want text boxes to start. So I can take the upper corner of a text box, and I'll show you. Well, actually, let's go to a page. So see this text box right here? And then point-to-point move is this right here. Oh, you know what? I have... let me try something. Yes, I do. I have the power. Look at this. That's it right there, right? So you can click on that, and then let's say I grab this corner, and then I click and let go, move the mouse over here, and click. See how it moved over there? But I don't want that. And if you notice, if you hover over that, I got to get good with this drawing tool. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so you would write your text, and then a lot of stuff that I do, like I'll make sure it's all a certain size. This doesn't look like I really planned for it. I probably divided the page up evenly and then just eyeballed where this line could go. But then everything in that column is going to be the same, so that it looks unified. But anyways, down here, point to point, I made it PP in the tools hotkey, because it's point to point, right? So PP. And it's the same key hitting twice, so that helps. And then I can just go like that. And then another tool that's cool is when you highlight all these, I'd like them all to line up on one edge, and that's this tool right here. So you can tell it all the left edges line up, and you got to think about this. Like if, let's say this is over here. It will grab everything that's not lined up with the left and bring it to the left. So if one of these is over here and you use line up with left, they're all going to jump off the page back here. So sometimes it's good to use line up with the right or whatever. And here's another trick. You can grab this handle here and drag it down and right there. So you see how that little symbol showed up? What that is now all these are the same width, and I'm going to tell it align left edges, and then it just moved everything to line up on the left. And then some of these are just big giant texts, like I've collected over the last 6 years what should be on a plan. And then of course the IRC code changes. But anyways, you start here on 0, and I happen to be going through a phase where I want to use American National Standards Institute, because I have a lot of clients who want to print this on 11 by 17. And if you do that with Architectural D, which is 36 by 24, and you run it through 11 by 7, you can't scale anything. But if this sheet is designed to be 34 by 22, then when you print it through 11 by 17 at 100%, you're exactly half. So what's nice is if it's 1/4 inch scale on this, it'll be 1/8 inch scale on your 11 by 17. So I've had enough people ask about printing. Like, I could draw them on 11 by 17, but then the problem with that is to get your text to be 3/32 or an 1/8 inch tall, you end up having to add a bunch more pages to your plan set, because just to get things to fit, like for example, all this text, there's no way it's going to fit on 11 by 17. It's going to take 2 pages to get this on there. So that's the downside of printing it to a smaller sheet size format. So we're back on 0. There's this blank spot here, right? And then as you go, it becomes G1, site demolition, whatever. And then look at that, all those numbers. And it just seems to just go. Well, the chief architect is pretty cool. Let's go to 0, double click this, and see what it says. So where is it at here? Why am I not seeing it? Yeah, what am I missing here? Oh, it's layout page label. Duh, I should have just been reading over here. All right. That's a macro. So it's going to go find out the layout label. And you're like, okay, so where's that? So where that is go to like page 1 and this icon over here, edit page information. And here you go. I kind of wish they would unify the language to where this says layout page label. They got plenty of room. You know, they could write justify with the colon right here against this, and then the text wouldn't be lined up on the left, but who cares? Because in that way it would be unified. So this first one, I did G and number side, or number sign. And then as we go down these pages, there's SD and number sign. And you're going to see real quick what happens when I start here. A and number sign. A and number sign. A and number sign. You getting the idea? So the software is designed that whatever you put here, if you use a number sign in there, it's going to auto add a number. And so some people like to do like A for architectural, and then they'll do either a hyphen or a period or whatever. Or some like to do A number sign dot number sign, or dot 1 or whatever. Usually it's like A number sign dot 1. So you get pages that look like this. Let's just do it. And I'm going to copy that. And copy. Let's just do 3 of them. Okay, so then you have, let's go back here. SD, and then all of a sudden you're in A1.1, A2.1, A3.1. So lots of different ways to figure out your page numbering. Unless you're collaborating with someone who has a specific standard that's required, this is completely shooter preference here. Whatever works for you. Sometimes I like to see a dash in there. I used to all the time think the dash was cool. Here, I'll show you. A-1. But then sometimes you get into plans that have a lot of pages or, or whatever. And so I just started going, well, let's just go minimal on this. So the same thing happens here. This foundation plan, that's from the title. So as you go up here, it says page template is the title. So there you go. Elevations. And then this other thing, comments. I just added comments to be a little more thorough, and here's how I use them. Go to 0. So right here, well, I use them in a couple spots. So page template, descriptive sheet title. That's the descriptive sheet title right here. And if you'll notice right here, it says general notes, code, information, blah, blah, blah. That's right here. General notes, codes, information, symbols, keys. And then the title, general, is right here. So that's how you set that up. And you can play around with this and do different things. Nobody says you have to have G here. You could have whatever you want. One of the things I like to do is when I'm done with my plan, I try to make 5 or 6 extra pages that say S and number sign. And then I'll put like a period or a dot or something on the sheet so that it shows up in my legend, table of contents, whatever. I'll show you right here. So I haven't done that here, but if I needed to, I would have the last 5 pages, S1, S2, S3, S4, S5. And then that gives me 5 blank pages to add engineering to the end of my plans. And in PDF, I just attach them to this when it's printed to PDF. And then this drawing index sheet remains accurate. So this is a template. So this is like way more than you would ever draw, but it's extra, so already there. And like all this information up here is just those fields. Like this general is this general. This additional words is right here. And then I just type this in to remind me and this to remind me. So as I go from page to page, I know exactly what I'm doing. So, and then let's see, what else did we do? You can use the defaulted client information that you can fill out per plan and then use macros to populate it in here. But I've never really found that to be worth doing because I don't use it enough for it to be needed. And I called the ICC and got the permission to actually like copy and paste some of the code because the county I'm in is really, they want like the code in the plans. But this is super important right here. When you send your drawing to a print shop, you need to tell them to print it 100% on whatever paper size. Because a lot of printers default to like 95%. And if people don't know that or if they're not paying attention, this will come out and it won't work. They'll put a scale ruler on there and it comes up and it's wrong. And I've had somebody call me and complain that I didn't scale the plans right. And so I had to get the printer person on the phone and found out that they didn't even know that was a thing. And so then they reprinted them for free to the customer. So whatever scale, whatever you do, and that's even easy to do. File, export, print, drawing sheet setup. So you can pick whatever scale your drawing is going to be put on. And like I said, I picked ANSI D, but I used to always do architectural D. But ANSI D seems to be working pretty good. And if they do print it on 24-inch wide paper, you get an extra inch border. So you can put your grubby hands on the plans and it doesn't smear onto the important information. And everybody knows you roll plans up backwards, right? So that when they're totally rolled, you still can read this. That's the whole idea of having this title block out here. You don't roll them to where you hide everything and it's just a white tube of paper. You roll them the opposite way of what you think. Starting from where it says reserved binding, you would roll under and roll, 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 roll. And when you're done, you'll be able to read all this data on the outside of the roll. So there's a freebie. I like to go through the code book and pick out the codes that relate to my area. And then I just paste them in here so that I'm not telling them what to do. The code is here. The county goes by this code, and it just helps whoever's doing it. Most of the guys doing this are professionals. They've done this a long time, so they don't really even need to see the code, but put it there anyways. So wall types, I learned that from an architect. He puts this symbol, which is pretty cool. He puts this symbol next to whatever type of wall, like the outside walls, whatever. And that way he can just have these symbols floating around in his plan, and which peak or whatever corner it's touching, that wall is to be built like this. Same with these symbols. It's a lot easier to put a symbol somewhere on your plan and then leave a legend so your plans stay clean. And you'll notice like these are like boilerplates, what they call that, because if you don't have a floor 2 or you don't have a bunch of sections or whatever. So this is cool as a framer. I always like to try and build my stair stringers like this because I feel that's stronger. But some people like to do a drop stringer. The only advantage is that you can use shorter lumber by one notch cut. Whatever. I like these because you can plane everything to where you actually use a partial tread at the top. And then if you're doing, I don't know, like see, a lot of guys will do just the stringer and then they will put like hardwood on top of just the stringers. And what I like to do is, if I know you're going to add 3/4 inch hardwood, I'll take 3/4 inch out of the bottom. I'll drop everything 3/4, and then I'll be able to have this solid nailing surface. And then you just get to come in and, like, if you were going to do hardwoods, I would notch all these nosings off, and then you would go with your riser up to here, and then your oak tread or whatever out over. But you'd have full gluing, screwing, whatever. You could even come in from underneath. You could put heavy weights on your oak. Instead of pin nailing from the top, you could glue these things, put some weight on them, and then from underneath you could screw with the right depth screw, go up through here into the oak and pull it tight. So there's lots of cool ways to do that. I'm not a finished carpenter though, so there's that. So yeah, this is going to be a mess. What is this? Okay. So this is how Chief does things. See this window here? That is a viewport if you were in AutoCAD. And what I'm going to do is double click in here, and it's going to open up a new file that's really big. You can either, okay, so we're going to look at this in a minute. You can either save all your custom things you create in a user catalog, and I broke it into rooms and used my initials in the front. So these are the things in the bathroom that I use quite often. Text for the plans. It's nice because you can have a text library where you can just, once you've written some text and you know you're going to use it again, it's in here. Some of these details are pretty crazy. I started taking these details and putting them in here. So originally what I did was I opened up a blank plan, called it main details, and I made a grid pattern of half inch. Let me see. It's just slow. This is a tough one because there's a lot of line drawings in here. 1/2 inch scale, 3/4 inch scale, and 1 inch scale. And so the text is all the right size for whatever scale that is. And if I need to, say I got a detail page where I want to show, I don't know, let's say this is 1 inch scale. If I want this nice clean looking 1 inch scale, all of this, when I send it to the layout, we're going to do that right now. This is the button to send it to layout. It's going to say it defaults to 1/4 inch. So first I'm going to change that to 1. I don't want the entire plan view because that's going to grab everything you just saw when it opened. I want the current screen, and it's going to go to page 14, which is page 14 on this untitled, because we were there. So the trick is go to the page you want to have this thing export to, and then when you go to export, it's going to default to there. So let's hit OK. And look, it dropped it right in the middle here. So let's take a look at this real quick, and then we'll just talk about it. So it sent the whole screen view. And what's nice is I don't want to see anything on the left and right. So I just grab these grips and I just drag them in. And something I decided to do was, I'm always renaming these labels at the bottom. And so now that I've got this giant system, let's see, what is, oh, that's a single all by itself. Nice. Now that I've got this system, the grid has its own numbering system. So when I move this up here, I don't have to come back and go, detail 1, page A12, detail 2, detail, oh, come on. It's not OBS lagging. I'm trying to zoom. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. It's going to have its own custom number that's never ever going to change. This one happens to be 008, so that's like the first row. And it's already got this label because when you look at it, look at that. There's 8. There's 7. So sometimes I'll grab a detail, and I made these go from, this is 01 through 10, and then this is 11 through 20. But down here, like, let's just pick this detail. This is going to be a 3/4 inch detail, and it's 066, typical web truss at roof wall. So this text here is probably 1.5 inches. And I think it's 1 inch on the, when it's 1 inch scale, it's 1 inch. And then I know it's 2 1/4 inches when it's half scale. And then it's 4 1/2 inches when it's quarter scale. And if you're confused by all that, this is, I'll just zoom in here. You guys can pause the video and copy any of this you want. Let's start with this. So some jurisdictions want you to have 1/8 inch tall text on your pages when you print. And that's what they teach you in school too, is 1/8 inch tall letters on your layouts. So for 1/8 inch scale, let's say you're doing, I don't even know what would be an 1/8 inch scale. Everything I do, unless it's a site plan, is 1/4 inch scale or bigger. Because I don't do really super big things that won't fit on a page. So 1/4 inch scale, you would go 6 inches tall in the model. So like this is the model. So this is actually 1/2 inch scale, and it's 3 inches tall if you want 1/8 inch finished on your layout. I like to shoot for 330 seconds, which is just a smidge smaller so I can get more text in there. So 2.25 or 2 1/4 inches. So let's just double click this and confirm. 2 1/4 inches. There we go. So there's that. So when you're making details, there's a couple different ways to do this. You can make a really cool detail, and then when you highlight it like this, watch this. So it's highlighted, right? then I like to turn them into a block, just because. And once you block that, all these other toolbars down here changed. I don't know if you saw that. We can go back and I'll show you. It's pretty cool. So you start off. Look at these toolbars down here. Oh, I got to try my cool zoom in. And then all these toolbars right here. Okay, watch what happens. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to block. And then, well, I guess it didn't block because I was too fast on the... Okay, hold on. Highlight. Oh, now it's blocked. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is turn it into a block. That means everything's locked. You move this thing and they all go together. And you want to come down here. And this is the tool you want right here. And it is add to user library. Well, add to library, right? Not add to user library. And so let's just add this to the library. So I need you to look over here because I'm going to close all these. And you're going to see it show up right underneath the word trash or above the word trash. You ready? Look at that. It actually showed up in the user catalog as block 131. And then if I click on it, watch this. I'm going to load by one click on there. I'm going to come over here and look. It's bringing, there it is. There it is. I can just keep on clicking all day long, right? So that's pretty convenient. Once you get something done the way exactly as the way you want it, you put it into your library, and then immediately, before you just leave it as block 131, which won't mean anything to you, go ahead and name it in whatever naming convention you want to use. And I put a space in front of mine. In every one of those envelopes or folders, I put a space. And that way they all ride to the top. I don't really need this one in there. And then I joined David Michael Design's website, and he's got a really reasonable price. One time you spend the money, and you have access to all kinds of good stuff. So free stuff to download. He has columns, those sloped columns, and just custom fireplaces, and just amazing. The guy's amazing. So I downloaded all that, and I have it in here. And then Renee Rabbit had some stuff that he gave for free, so I grabbed some of that. But and then Chief Architect, Dan Bowman's Chief Experts Academy. So that's just spelled wrong. I'm gonna fix that right now. Boom, boom. Okay. But that's really a useful tool. You will never have to draw that again once you've blocked it, turned it into your user library. And then now, so the downside is if you ever crash your computer or you break Chief, you'll lose all that. But once you have your user library kind of where you want it, or if you want to do it incrementally, you can export that. Where is that down here? Dun, 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 dun. I don't remember. It's one of those exports. And I think it's this one here, default sets, maybe. Or it's something to do with yeah, this might be it. I don't remember. I've done it once, and then so when my computer crashed and I had to reload all the software, I just loaded that file back in and everything was back. I was so glad because this took a while to build this. Let me tell you this. I started using Chief in 2015, and I'd never used User Catalog till 2 months ago. I just never did. The other option of not using this, I would open up a previous plan that was recent and reuse a bunch of what is in that plan on the next plan. I think that's called SAM or something. Whatever. It's got an acronym for, that's one of the techniques is, you save, you open up a previous plan and go with it. But I'm trying to get a little more streamlined and efficient. And so this is my master detail file. And I just throw stuff on here. And so that, this is what's cool here too. So I put this detail right here. And as you can see, all the text, here's some text from a different one. This is a photograph, or not photograph, this is a screenshot. But you notice how the text is all the same size, even though this is 1-inch scale and this is probably way less. But what's cool is, once I have this, I only need one of these. And I can go copy. And then I'll come over here somewhere. Paste. And then if I really wanted to, it's probably faster to do it another way, but I just want to show you. This is just a small little window of everything that's on that page that we were just on. So then if I go, oh, you know what? I need the wall types. Okay, well, the wall types are right there. So, and this has taken me a while to figure out how to do all this. But if it inspires you to try and organize your life, I don't know if this is, I'm willing to just say, hey, this is stupid and try something else. But I had to come up with something that worked. This works so far. And Dan is having a little 3-session roundtable where he's going to get people together and we're going to discuss chief architect efficiencies. So I'm really looking forward to that. But see what I did there. And then let's just go Control X. And I'm going to zoom into this. And then I want to see, here's this. I'm going to move this up here and set this right here. Look at that. That's the exact same thing. What's its number? Yeah, see, I already did this. This is a template, 056. Yep. Okay, so that's the same. So I guess I can go undo, undo, undo. It'll put that back. Okay. So that's a method that is pretty cool. And then these pages just keep going. I put on what I think. This is straight out of the IRC code. I redrew this and I went lower third, middle third, upper third, because there's some language in there, and their diagram didn't really break it out like that. This is out of the city of Seattle. This is how they build decks to the 60 pounds per square foot over here on the left. And this is some elevated deck stuff that I've worked on with another designer. More stuff out of the code book. Shear wall stuff. Oh, dude, if you're not from Washington State, you don't even want to look at this. Stuff's just crazy. This is our energy code stuff. I took all their definitions so that anybody who has any questions, and then you have to pick one out of every one of the, like here's section 1, you got to pick one of these, and section 2, you got to pick one of these. And some of this stuff, look, let's say you want to get 2 credits and you want to be an efficient building. Prescriptive compliance is based on table R401 or 402.1.1 with the following modifications. So you have to have 0.22 U value on your windows. R49 advanced, R21 plus R12. So I'm wondering in the wall how you get R21 plus R12 unless you spray foam or you're thicker than 2x6. Or maybe you're ICF or something. There's something going on here. Instead of R30 in the basement or in the floor system, R38. So basement wall is either going to be a 2x6 up against the concrete or some rigid thickness outside of the concrete. So some of these costs more right up on the front end. Just getting windows down to that size are more expensive. But that's part of the way they're trying to corral the building process in Washington State into compliance. So you have to add up to 6 credits mostly for a normal house. ADUs are popular and they only need 3. And then this is Dan Bowman's trick. Tells you to stop. And what's nice is you can look at all your pages over here. There's the stop. See that? Oh, yeah. And this is, okay, so remember how I said general, site plan, whatever. This list takes that name that you used. Let's see. General. Watch this. There's general, site plan, elevations. Let's go to foundation. Yeah, and then floor, 0 framing. So that's how that reads that. And it also provides the number. And watch this magic. Let's say I want floor 0 framing to come after floor 0 plan. So I'd go like that. So watch, you see how it changed? It became A5, floor 0 framing. And then I go, no, I better put it back. Now it's A4. So you can work on your plans and then figure out what order you want them in, delete the ones you don't want, and it's always going to automate this list. It's always going to go in the sequence of this list. And then what that does is it updates your table of contents. Your drawing sheet index is always accurate. So that's super handy. So I'm going to hit pause or stop on this video, and if this has got your brain itchy, leave a comment. Help me drive in the direction that helps you the best. So let me know what you want to know. Some of this stuff I don't know, so we'll be figuring it out together. Thanks for watching, and I hope YouTube lets me stick large files on their site. I just had a flashback to the Egyptian magician from the Jerky Boys. All right, well, hitting stop now.